Aurora Teagarden Mysteries Heist and Seek is a really good film. It's very obvious. I thought what was going on was exceptionally obvious, but other than that, I did enjoy it. This was released in 2020. It's directed by Peter Benson and stars, of course, Candace Bure as Aurora Teagarden. And this one involves the theft of a crown that was allegedly owned by Elizabeth I, and very soon after it's stolen, there is also a murder. I won't say who is murdered or what the connection is, but we have a lot of things going on here. What I will say is that, ironically, even though I thought the suspect was completely obvious, I'd say it was obvious after the first maybe 20 minutes of the film. I worked it out. Of course, I was never 100% sure until they revealed it. But for me, I just thought it was very obvious. But despite the fact that it was obvious, there were a lot of suspects. And despite the fact that there were a lot of suspects with genuine motives, I never changed my mind. There was just something about this particular suspect that struck me as guilty. And thankfully, I was right. And I'm not right that often with Aurora Teagarden films. So I was kind of pleased about that. Did I enjoy it less because I worked it out? No. But I wish I'd taken a little bit longer to come to a pretty confident conclusion. I'd love to know if you worked it out. Maybe it's not that obvious and I just struck lucky. As I said, I don't usually work it out. Or maybe it is very, very obvious and they didn't do a very good job of hiding things. As I said, there are a lot of suspects in this one, more than most Aurora Teagarden films. And maybe that's why. Maybe it was so obvious that they decided to throw in extra suspects to try and throw us off the scent. But despite the fact I was pretty confident, I still enjoyed the process. There are still things that I needed answers for. And I wasn't sure, even though I was pretty confident with who had done it, as it were, I wasn't sure about how certain dots would connect, and I was keen to find out. So, in general, it's a good film. We also have some good moments between Aurora and Nick, but I don't want to go into too much detail about those. I don't want to spoil anything, but certainly I liked that part of the film as well. The fact that it focuses on Elizabeth I, I rather enjoyed. It's definitely one of my favourite time periods in history, at least as far as royalty goes. And I like the backstory of the crown. I don't want to go into too much detail, but we get a little bit of a backstory about how this crown came to be and its importance, and all of that was really interesting. And the pacing was really great as well. We got new suspects revealed at a pretty good rate. We got some clues shared. And while I was, as I said, as confident could be, there were a couple of occasions where I started to think maybe it could be somebody else. But every time I thought that, we were given a reason why it wasn't that person. And I think maybe if they'd let that carrot dangle a little bit longer and let us look at another person and suspect them for a little bit more and latch on to that, maybe I wouldn't have been as confident. So there are some things they could have done slightly differently to make it a little bit better, a little bit more suspenseful. But as I said, I still enjoyed it. It's a fun idea for a narrative. The pacing is great. It flows really well. And all of the characters who are brought into this for this particular film are very well written. So no real complaints from me at all. It's a rare treat to work it out. It doesn't happen that often, so I was rather pleased about that. And I still enjoyed it, even though I was very confident very early on that I had the right person. And obviously I won't give away who it was. I don't want to spoil it. I certainly recommend it. And I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Heist and Seek might not be my favourite Aurora Teagarden film, but it's one that I still had a lot of fun with.